My name is Judy Gilbert-Gould. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, and I have proudly raised my family in Miami as well. I would like to read to you my legacy story. I was born in 1934, prior to World War II and the founding of the State of Israel. The world was in turmoil, and the fledgling Miami Jewish community was not organized, and there was no central body to galvanize the community into action. One of my earliest childhood memories is sitting on my father's shoulders at the Coast Guard station on MacArthur Causeway, which connects Miami to Miami Beach, looking out at the lights twinkling of the ship, the St. Louis, as it was being turned away from our shores. Although I didn't understand the significance at that time, I knew what was happening was important and that it greatly troubled my father. I remember him saying, "There are Jews on that ship and they are being turned away from our shores." I was born into a family where it was understood that each member had an obligation to make the world a better place in which to live. Though I was never told this in so many words, I learned it through the deeds of my parents, Stanley and Martha Myers. My father moved to Miami in 1925 after graduating from law school and helped form the Jewish Welfare Society, now Jewish Community Services of South Florida, and Beth David Congregation, the oldest conservative congregation in Miami, and helped form the Jewish Welfare Society, now called Jewish Community Services of South Florida. He also met my mother, by the way, at Beth David while he was teaching Sunday school, and she was president of Council of Jewish Women. He founded the Greater Miami Jewish Federation in 1938 and became its first president. After his death in 1992, the building was named in his honor. My mother was head of the Red Cross and served as president of the National Council of Jewish Women. I remember vividly during World War II seeing her dressed in her Red Cross uniform going to the USO on Miami Beach to roll bandages for the soldiers. The conversations at our dinner table those years centered around Jewish topics and values like social justice, helping the needy, and the founding of the State of Israel. These life-shaping experiences are what influenced me and my late brother, Kenneth Myers, to put those Jewish values we learned into action. Ken, an attorney, was elected to public office and served for many years in both the Florida House and Florida Senate, dedicating his tenure to improving human and social services. As a volunteer, I served as president of Miami's National Council of Jewish Women and vice president of the Jewish Federation's Women's Division. Professionally, I began my career working under Janet Reno, the Attorney General, in the Florida State Attorney General's office as the director of her Victim Witness programs, where I created and developed a program to help prepare rape victims to testify in court. From there, I entered the Jewish community and served as director of the Southeast region of American Jewish Congress, followed by 25 years in the Jewish Federation's Community Relations Council, first as its associate director and then as its director. One of my most memorable experiences was being involved in the Soviet Jewry movement as the lead professional of the Miami delegation for the March for Soviet Jewry on Washington in 1987, which was the forerunner of the release of the Soviet Jews from the Soviet Union. Another monumental experience of my life was meeting my late husband, Gerald Gould, on the 1991 mega mission to Israel. As the proud mother of three, Bobby and Nancy, Carolyn, and Mark and Belinda, and grandmother of 8, all have grown up attending Temple Beth Am's religious and day schools, where we remain a committed and multi-generational family. My family is my legacy, and I hope and trust they will continue to strengthen the link of Jewish continuity begun so many years ago by putting their Jewish values into action to make the world a better place in which to live.